The following review has been approved by Ethel the Cyborg Ninja. Welcome to Classic Game Room, where I bring you the review of one of the biggest games in history, right over my shoulder. On the small screen, it's Pac-Man for your Sega Game Gear. About 10 years after Namco's arcade classic crushed the arcades it lands on, the Sega Game Gear, Pac-Man goes portable. With a skateboard and a bow tie, Pac-Man wearing a hat eating a ghost's brain. It's Pac-Man, the game that you know and love, on the Game Gear, the portable game system that has a color screen. The Game Boy didn't have that. I love the packaging on the Japanese version here, and as far as I know, this has a Western release, so says eBay. Obviously, it doesn't cost very much. But is it the version of Pac-Man that you really want to play? I would say that it's an excellent version of Pac-Man on the Game Gear, but beyond that, it's not really a great version of Pac-Man. It's okay, but it's slow, it suffers from delay, and the Game Gear controller just doesn't really do it for Pac-Man, the Game Gear D-pad. But it looks and sounds pretty good, so you've got to give it credit for that. The problem is I couldn't control Pac-Man the way I'm used to controlling Pac-Man. I own a Pac-Man arcade machine. I love Pac-Man. This is a nice 1990-91 portable version of Pac-Man, but it's probably not your best option today for Pac-Man on the go. You're better off hauling the arcade game behind you on wheels. It looks good, it sounds good. I think they did a nice job recreating Pac-Man for the Sega Game Gear.
Stupid ghosts. Die again.
But if you really love Pac-Man, there's better ways to play it. Obviously, this is the best.
Woo! Yes!
But if you don't have an arcade machine nearby, most of the big game systems have a version of Pac-Man on them somewhere. The Game Gear version has two modes, one zoomed in and the full screen version here, so you can enjoy the entire maze, even though it's very small. This is the better way to play Pac-Man. There's also some two-player options if you have the Game Gear link cables or whatever they're called. It kind of looked like I was going all over the place there, but I was just trying to control Pac-Man, and it just wouldn't go where I wanted it to go. And of course that's infuriating and counterproductive when playing Pac-Man. However, I love the packaging and instruction manual for the Japanese version of this game. Let's check that out. I'll fill out the warranty card and mail that in later. Here we have a full-color Game Gear instruction manual with some really nice, colorful artwork on it. Presumably this tells you how to play Pac-Man, but does anyone really need to teach you how to play Pac-Man? Shouldn't you know? Here's what you do. Eat dots, avoid the ghosts, and there's a picture of two Game Gears being used together for a two-player game of Pac-Man. This is like a cool Pac-Man collector's item for fans of Pac-Man, but it's not the best way to play the game. Yes! From one Pac-Man fan to another, I've got a Classic Game Room shout out and thank you to send.
What? Freaking ghosts?
To Mr. Clown's Arcade of Santa Fe Springs, California. Mr. Clown's Arcade. Pac-Man for the Game Gear does what Nintendo's Game Boy doesn't. It plays Pac-Man in color. Actually, I'm not even sure if Pac-Man's on the Game Boy. I'm still waiting for that Pac-Man vs. Casey Munchkin deathmatch fighting game. Someone get on making that.